So today we're diving into PiCoin.
PiCoin, yeah.
And I know a lot of our listeners are probably like, finally,
Finally, right?
because this has been years in the making.
It has been years in the making. They've had people mining on their phones for literally years. And there's been so much skepticism around this project and hiding in the shadows. And finally, it hit the exchanges. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens.
70 million users, they say.
It's a lot.
That's a ton of people.
Yeah.
And they've all had to go through KYC, so it's not like these are just a fake account or whatever.
Yeah, they've done their due diligence there to make sure that everybody is legit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now we finally get to see, what is Pi worth? Is this the next Bitcoin? Or is it just another pump and dump scheme?
Yeah. Is it a meme coin or is it the real deal?
Exactly.
The price action right out of the gate has been pretty wild. We saw that initial surge over 35% in the first hour, hitting $2.10. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. And that kind of screams early hype, people getting in there, maybe some of those early miners, cashing out as soon as they could.
Yeah, then it crashed right back down.
Oh, yeah. It went down to $1.01.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's like classic pump and dump territory, but the trading volume has been huge.
Really?
Over 1,700% increase in trading volume. That tells us that there's serious interest, and not just from the initial miners, but from other folks as well.
So Pi is already listed on a couple of exchanges right now. BitKit and Bitmart and Gate.io.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. MEXE, Bybit, HTX, OKX.
But the big one is Binance.
Yeah, everybody is waiting to see what Binance is going to do.
They're like the 800-pound gorilla in the room, right?
They are the largest crypto exchange in the world, and they haven't listed Pi yet.
They're doing a community vote.
Yeah, which closes on February 27th.
Just a couple days.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But if Binance does list Pi, it could really be a game changer in terms of price and just visibility for the project.
Experts are saying that Pi could reach hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, those predictions are out there. We'll see.
If it gets on Binance, it definitely seems more likely, I think.
I think so. But I think what's important here is that Pi is not just another meme coin. They're actually trying to build a real ecosystem.
Oh.
They have over 80 community-built apps. So it suggests that they're aiming for real-world utility. They're not just about hype and speculation.
Interesting. So it's not just a pump and dump like we've seen so many times before.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, okay.
That's the hope, right?
So they're trying to build something more sustainable.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes it really intriguing.
Okay, this is good. So we got a good foundation to jump off from here.
Yeah, I think so.
So PiCoin, we've got this massive user base. They're eco-friendly because they mine from your phone.
Yeah, it's not like Bitcoin where you need all this energy-intensive mining.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And we've got this potential Binance listing coming up.
Yeah, that's the big wild card.
So maybe Pi is more than just a meme coin?
I mean, it has the potential to be, but there are still some risks and uncertainties. We can't ignore those.
Okay, what?
For one thing, the price predictions are all over the map. Some people are saying it's going to the moon. Others are saying it's going to crash and burn.
Okay.
And there are still some unanswered questions about Pi's tokenomics, especially with the circulating supply being undisclosed.
Oh.
That can make investors nervous.
Yeah, for sure.
When you don't know how many coins are out there, it's hard to gauge the true value.
Yeah, and we all know the crypto market is volatile.
Extremely volatile. 1 minute you're up, the next minute you're down.
It's a roller coaster.
It is. For our listeners who are involved in crypto trading, yeah, this is where the real analysis begins.
Yeah. We've given you the overview. Now it's time to dig deeper and make your own decisions.
Exactly. Do your own research and decide if Pi is right for you.
All right. Sounds good. Let's do it.
Let's dig into those price predictions a little bit more. We've seen some analysts throw out some pretty crazy numbers.
Yeah, like what?
Like $75 to $110 by the first quarter of 2025.
Wow.
And even reaching $150 to $200 by the end of the year.
That's a huge jump from where it is now.
It is. It is. So what's driving that confidence?
Yeah. Is it just hype?
I don't think it's just hype. The sheer size of the Pi network is a factor.
Yeah.
If even a fraction of those 70 million users start actively using Pi for transactions,
it could really create some demand.
that could create massive demand.
Right.
And remember, Pi is designed to be user-friendly.
Yeah, it is.
With that mobile mining aspect. So it's really accessible to people who might be intimidated by the complexities of traditional crypto.
So you're saying it could bring in a whole new wave of crypto users.
Exactly. People who might have been on the sidelines before.
Interesting.
But then you have the other side of the coin.
Yeah.
Got those bearish predictions as well.
Okay, so what are those saying?
Some are saying that Pi could struggle to break $50.
Oh, wow.
Maybe even drop below that.
That's a big difference.
It is a big difference. So what's driving those concerns?
Yeah. What are people worried about?
One of the biggest concerns is the lack of transparency around Pi's tokenomics.
Right.
That undisclosed circulating supply.
Yeah.
That's a red flag for some investors.
Okay, I see what you're saying, because
Yeah.
if you don't know how many coins are out there,
Right.
how do you even know what the price should be?
Exactly. It's like investing in a company without knowing how many shares are outstanding.
It creates a lot of uncertainty.
A lot of uncertainty. And then there are the regulatory hurdles. The crypto landscape is constantly shifting, and governments around the world are still figuring out how to regulate this space.
Right.
So there's always the risk of a crackdown.
Okay, so that's a big risk for any crypto project, but especially one that's doing things a little bit differently.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially one that's pushing the boundaries like Pi is.
So for our listeners out there, you're into crypto trading. This is where things get really interesting, right? You've got this mix of potential and uncertainty.
It's a tough call.
Yeah. Is it worth the risk?
That's a decision each individual trader needs to make.
Right.
Based on their own risk tolerance and their investment goals.
Are you a gambler or are you more risk averse?
Exactly. Are you willing to bet on Pi's potential to become a mainstream player, even with all those unknowns? Or are you more comfortable sticking with the more established coins?
Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Exactly.
The ones with a proven track record.
Low risk, low reward, high risk, high reward.
That's crypto in a nutshell. That's the game we're playing.
Exactly. What do you think about that Korean fried chicken story?
Oh, yeah, that was interesting. So in Korea, there's this restaurant.
Yeah, this little fried chicken place.
Yeah. And they're accepting Pi as payment.
They are.
And they're actually getting more customers because of it.
Yeah, it's bringing in new business.
But here's the thing. They can't actually use the Pi for anything yet.
They're just holding on to it.
They're hodling.
Yeah, hoping that one day it's going to be worth something.
And that kind of highlights
It does.
the gap between the hype and the reality.
I think so.
You have this growing community. People are excited about Pi. They're willing to use it.
Yeah.
But the actual utility is still very limited.
Yeah. It's a chicken and egg problem, right?
Yeah.
For Pi to gain wider adoption, it needs more real-world use cases.
But for those use cases to develop it, people need to have confidence in Pi.
Exactly.
That it's actually going to be worth something.
So it's a bit of a catch-22.
It is. And that's why I think those 80 community apps are so important.
They're key.
If they can deliver real value, if they can attract a user base beyond just the speculators and the early adopters, that could be the thing that really pushes Pi into the mainstream.
It could be the catalyst for that mainstream breakout.
So that's something to watch, for sure.
Keep an eye on those apps.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential and the risks, the price predictions, the real-world applications or the lack thereof. For you, is the most compelling aspect of Pi?
I think it's really the community that they've built. 70 million KYC verified users, that's a huge foundation.
It's massive.
If they can translate that enthusiasm into real-world usage, I think they could be a force to be reckoned with.
It's like they've tapped into something, right? Like that desire to be a part of something new and potentially revolutionary.
Yeah, and let's face it, the idea of mining crypto on your phone,
it's cool.
It is. It's novel. But I think it also goes deeper than that. Pi has positioned itself as the people's crypto, right?
Yeah.
It's accessible to anyone with a smartphone.
And that's powerful.
It is. And that message really resonates, especially in regions where traditional financial services are limited.
So for our listener out there, someone who's been following the crypto markets, maybe they've even been mining Pi themselves. What's the takeaway here?
You got to ask yourself, are you a believer?
Ooh, good question.
Do you see Pi becoming a major player in the crypto space?
Right.
Or do you think it's all just hype and speculation?
And there are people on both sides of that fence right now.
Oh, absolutely. You've got people calling it a scam. You got other people saying it's going to be the next Bitcoin.
Yeah, so how do you sift through all that noise and make an informed decision?
That's where critical thinking comes in. Don't just follow the herd.
Right.
Don't get swept up in the hype.
Do your own research.
Do your own research. Look at the facts, the team, the technology, the roadmap, the actual utility of the coin.
And then ask yourself, does this align with my investment goals?
Exactly.
My risk tolerance?
What am I comfortable with?
Yeah.
What kind of investor am I?
And that's what this is all about, right? These deep dives.
I so.
We're trying to give you the information to help you make those decisions for yourself.
We're not here to tell you what to think, but to give you the tools to think for yourself.
Exactly. So as you're pondering the future of PiCoin, and whether it's worth your time and investment,
right,
here's a thought to chew on.
Okay.
Imagine if Pi pulls it off.
Yeah.
Imagine if they build a thriving ecosystem.
And gain mainstream adoption.
They get on all the major exchanges.
Yeah, and they become a major player in the crypto world.
All those people who cashed out at $1 or $2, they're going to be kicking themselves.
They might have some serious FOMO.
Yeah.
Wondering what could have been if they had held on just a little bit longer.
But on the flip side, if Pi fizzles out, if it goes to zero,
All those people who held on.
are going to wish they sold at $1 or $2.
Exactly.
So it's a gamble.
It is.
There's no doubt about it.
But that's the game.
That's the game we're playing. High risk, high reward.
Exactly. And that's what keeps things exciting.
It does. The crypto world is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
It's full of surprises and opportunity.
With potential.
Full of potential.
Cool.
So stay informed, stay curious, and don't be afraid to dive deep into the unknown. You never know what hidden gems you might discover.
Absolutely. Until next time, happy trading.